Now, one thing I did want to, like, one of the big reasons why I wanted this to lead the topic today is because one of us is a voice actor. He's done voice acting work. He does regular acting work now, and I did want to get your opinion on it, Terrence.
Yeah, so okay. Just to, as you said, I mean, you said I'm a voice actor, but just to give the audience, I guess, some more background on this. Yeah, I am a voice actor, but I've done mostly just I stick to like the indie scene where I've like auditioned for stuff, and I booked a thing or two here and there for like indie stuff. I'm by no means anyone big into voiceover at all. I haven't done like any anime dubbing or like any big video games or anything like that. Not yet,
Yeah,
but just
yeah,
right
but
now.
you got more experience than the rest of us would have on this, so
Yeah,
I did want to get your perspective.
yeah, but I'm just saying just to give some background to the audience here. But yeah, I've been, even though I haven't done anything big in the industry, I've been keeping up with the industry since like the early 2010s. I've watched voice actors who are big into anime now. They were on the same forums I was back in those days. And so I've seen the industry evolve. So just to give you some background, I have some insight as to what's going on here. And I definitely have some notes, so kind of forgive me if I go up and down on the page, but there's definitely some stuff that I want to hit on here. One, dubs. Let's get this out of the way. A lot of you might say, ew, dubs. Why should I care? First off, it's not
Man, I'm
the
gonna say
19.
this. I'm gonna
Go,
say this. I
go
don't
ahead.
watch dubs, and I don't give a fuck. Like, if you do work, you deserve to be paid fairly for it. Period.
Yeah, and trust me, I'm gonna get to that. It's not the 1980s or the 1990s anymore, where dubs are like subpar and they're like laughable in terms of their quality, where the production was not good at all. Nowadays, dubs are taken very seriously. In fact, a lot of the top anime voice actors, they're anime fans themselves, and they entered the industry because they wanted to take the quality of the dubs up to next level. So a lot of dubs now, if you really sit down and watch them, they are really good. They're well done. The actors, they act their asses off to try and give you the best quality. So even if you don't like dubs, you can't say that these people aren't putting in the effort. And second off, just because you may personally think that dubs are lesser, that doesn't mean that people don't deserve to get paid. Like Sage said, it's like people deserve a living wage. And if you still think that, they don't deserve a living wage just because you think dubs are lesser, I pray that you never work in an industry where you're paid less because you're deemed lesser by your superiors or like your audience or something like that. And if you do get to work in that kind of industry, come back to this video and maybe then you'll have some empathy for what's going on here. But this issue is honestly nothing new. This is something that has taken place for a long time now. This kind of goes back to Pokemon in the early 2000s, like the late 90s, early 2000s, like with the Pokemon movies. Those movies, they made bank at the box office. And let's be real, no one was really watching the Pokemon movies in sub. Everybody for Pokemon, Pokemon was pretty much like an American cartoon where it was treated like just regular Western voice acting. And that's how most people are exposed to Pokemon. Let's be real. But yeah, those movies were making major bank at the box office back then. And yet the actors weren't really seeing any cuts from that. They were getting paid like minuscule wages. In fact, there's a documentary about voice acting called Adventures in Voice Acting back in 2008, where there was a segment where they talked about how voice actors were, underpaid back then, that it would be a struggle to make it just working on anime. And games were sometimes, they would pay more, but a lot of times the anime stuff would come around, more frequently. So that was in 2008. So yeah, this is definitely by no means new. But let's fast forward to where we are now. Well, let's fast forward to within like the past 5 years. In 2017, Sony acquired Funimation for $150 million. In 2021, Sony bought Crunchyroll for $1 billion. In 2021, the Demon Slayer movie practically tied with MK at the box office. And they was like the gross was like 20 million or something like that. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but I think that's pretty close. Just this year, the Jujutsu Kaisen Zero movie, that debuted at number 2 at the box office, right behind the Batman. So, okay, you can make the argument back then, well, anime was still this niche thing. There's no way that, people were going to get paid a lot for it. That argument can't fly now. Anime is pretty much mainstream now. Anime is no longer like this niche thing where, just basement dwellers are like your stereotypical like geeks are watching that. You can walk into Walmart or Target and you can just go to like the clothing aisle and you'll see T-shirts with anime characters and all sorts of anime properties on. You can go to JCPenney and just get straight up anime and video game shirts. Hot Topic, all these stores, GameStop, all these places have anime merchandise now. We can't ignore the fact that the industry has money. So like Sage said, you know, where is it going? Why aren't people getting paid? The proof is there. The money is in anime, and it's no longer like this niche thing that, you know, can only afford to pay you pennies. So if you're listening to all this and you're thinking, okay, well, dub actors deserve more, fine. Well, what about the translators? What about animators? And we hear about them all the time. What about them? Shouldn't they get more too? And my answer to that is yes, they should. You're right. But for right now, we're just talking about the actors because they're the ones standing up for their pay. I hope one day that animators, translators, and other people in the industry, they stand up and realize that they should be paid more for what they do. It's a shame that anime and gaming has this problem too, where there are these big entertainment industries that bring so many people joy that we love to get on Twitter and talk about them and everything day in and day out. But the people who are behind this, who make these products, they aren't fairly compensated for their work. And it's just not right. So ultimately, that's my take on it, is that anime is too big to not be paying people what they're worth.